Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Chat with Ryan Frank. So glad that you are here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. After a week of vacation, I'm so glad to be back in the Daily Coffee Chats. Big thank you to Andy, who produces the Daily Coffee Chat, who came through for me last week on vacation and pulled some videos from the archive. So thank you for watching those. Hope that they were a blessing and a help to you. You know what? It's often in ministry, you feel like you're all alone. And I get it. I have sat through so many church staff meetings at my church where I'm like, man, do I even need to be here? Right. And I have consulted with so many churches that will have me come in on a Sunday and stick around for a Monday staff meeting. And it's like everything that's being discussed has nothing to do with children's ministry. A lot of you that serve in ministry, you are in children's ministry in particular, you are females in churches that are predominantly men on staff. And so you have that dynamic of feeling alone. And I think by nature of just children's ministry, children's ministry is often doesn't often get included in a lot of discussions and decisions. But I have good news for you, and that is you're not alone. And we have some great guests today. Stanley Mears is with us. Stanley Mears, sorry. He's going to jump on here in a couple of minutes. Jennifer Abercrombie is with us as well. And we're going to talk about this very topic, that you are not alone. And if you're part of the I Love Kidmin Facebook group, which a lot of you are watching this on the Facebook group, some of you are watching this on YouTube or catching it on the podcast. But if you're part of the I Love Kidmin Facebook group, you should be reminded you are not alone. We are soon to celebrate a pretty big milestone in the Facebook group, 25,000 members. And listen, not every children's ministry leader in America is part of the I Love Kidmin Facebook group. I can promise you that, or every ministry leader around the globe. You are not alone. The Lord is with you. We are in this together. There are champions, people that are championing you and what you are doing. On a different note, yesterday in our Sunday school class, we watched a video from Matt Chandler. And in the video, Matt, he dropped this little one-liner in. I'm like, man, that was worth coming to church today just for that one-liner. And he talked about asking yourself the question, is this really going to matter 50 trillion years from now? I think he said 50 trillion or 20 trillion or 10 trillion or something. And I posted a question online this morning, and that is, what is something you can do today that you'll be really glad you did 10 trillion years from now? Because so much of what we do really doesn't matter. The things we stress out about, the things that we spend our time doing, the things we give our heart to. I mean, are they really going to matter 10 trillion years from now? What are some things I can do today? I'll be so glad 10 trillion years into eternity that I did. And I'm telling you, I think one of the best uses of my time right now, I love these daily coffee chats. I really think that 10 trillion years from now, I'll be glad we did these coffee chats, because they have been such an encouragement to my soul and spirit to keep going in ministry. And so many of you email or call or write or reach out on Facebook and say, Ryan, this one really helped me as I dealt with this. And I think today's going to be a great coffee chat. Just had a meeting. We just wrapped up a quick staff meeting about Global Kidmin Day. Those of you that are hosting Global Kidmin Day, shirts are being ordered today. Our Global Kidmin Day hosts all get a Kids Matter or a Global Kidmin Day tee. Those shirts are being ordered today, so pretty big day. We love ordering t-shirts. Those shirts will be coming to you. I think they're going to take us 10 days to get, and then as soon as we get them, boom, they're going to come to you. Super pumped about Global Kidmin Day. If you've not checked out the site in a while, go check it out. globalkidminday.com, happening August 8th. For under $100, 95 bucks, you can bring your whole team. Your whole team can participate in this event. Stanley Mears is going to join me on the coffee chat. Stanley, why don't you jump on here with me? Stanley and I first met, I think it was Stanley at a children's pastors conference
Yes, sir.
a while back. I saw a guy wearing a baseball cap. That Stanley, I've seen you wear that baseball cap more than one time. I don't know if it's the same one. Is it the same one? I think you've got several of these, don't you?
We've changed them up over the years and brought on different ones, but yes, sir.
Tell us about it.
Well, we were doing our own advertisement, but we were thinking our children's ministry, if you could pour into a child, what do you need to tell them? We want to share about Jesus.
Yep.
But nowadays, you can't go up to a child and say, do you know Jesus? Because they don't. They have no foundation to stand on. So on my hand, it just simply says 10731 with those 4 numbers on it. Looks like an IP address or whatever.
Yep.
But the conversation starter, people come and say, what's that about? And we say, well, it's simple. The 10 stands for the rules of the game. What are the rules of life that you need to live by? And that's the 10 commandments. And if you don't live by the 10 commandments, you break them, you separate from God from all eternity, you lose the game.
Yep.
Well, why is that important? That leads to 7, which is the 7 days of creation, to know that you're created with a purpose and loved, and that God loves you and has a purpose. Well, then what's 3? 3 is a simple ABCs: admit, believe, confess, to start that relationship with God. And then 1 is there's only one way to heaven through Jesus, and there's only one true God, and he loves you and he has a purpose for you.
I love it.
Start that foundation for a child's life.
So it's 10, 7, 3, 1.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Stanley, tell us about your ministry and your family.
I have a wonderful wife. We've been married for 20 years. Her name's Lydia. We live in Hickory, North Carolina, at Mountain View Baptist Church. Children's minister, a lifer. That's what I feel called to, and what
I love it.
I've been for the last several years. And I have 2 wonderful kids. They've grown up through my ministry. They're in the youth ministry now. One is in junior high. The other one's about to be a sophomore in high school and about to get his driver's license next year.
That's cool. Now, what'd you do before you were a children's ministry or kids pastor? What'd you do?
Well, before I was a kids pastor, I was an associate pastor in youth ministry before seminary.
Okay.
And right after seminary, I went and was hired as apartment ministry outreach specialist. So I was trying to get in the apartment complexes outside the church.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've gotten 3 of those doing outreach, and we're mainly doing ministry to children. I said, man, I love this. This is
Really?
what I feel called to. And we started heading that direction, and God started opening doors. And we've been in children's ministry now, I guess, for the past 15 years.
That's pretty cool. So were you running buses to those apartments or vans? Were you doing ministry there?
We were doing ministry at the apartments, because what we saw is if we bust them in, they weren't coming, their families weren't coming.
Okay.
But somebody had given money saying we want to reach out to them.
Yeah.
So we built that up in a trust fund, and we're playing off the interest of it. And so I went to the apartment complex and said, hey, we don't want to change what you're doing. We don't want to be Bible thumpers. We want to come in and serve your community. How can we best serve y'all? And they said, we have latchkey kids. And I said, okay, can we tutor them after school or take care of them or help them out?
Yeah.
I said, sure, we'd love for you to do that. I said, well, we need a place to do it. And they'd give us an apartment to work out of.
Man, did they really?
Yes. And
That's
3 different apartment complexes. And
That's
then we talked to them, and their parents didn't know English. So we started English as a second language and started a little clothing store. So they'd come in and get clothes from people at the church who were trying to get rid of clothes, and met needs where they're at.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Where'd you go to seminary?
Southeastern and North Carolina.
Okay. Nice. Beth and I love the Carolinas. We love the Carolinas. There's like 3 or 4 states. If God ever moved us somewhere, we'd love for be one of these states, Lord, and the Carolinas are one of them. Those are good states.
They really are.
They are.
Friendly, beautiful place to live.
Yep. All right. So Stanley, a few years ago, you reminded me about this when we were talking over the weekend. I was speaking at a conference. I said something. It really resonated with your heart, and you acted on it. Tell us.
Okay. The whole thing was not alone. The whole theme of the whole conference, and you're one of the main speakers. Here's what I want you to do right now. It says, we're not alone in ministry. We weren't meant to be alone in ministry. Even Jesus had 12. He had his inner 3.
Yep.
You need to actually not only be poured into and think about yourself, but you need to pour into others. And you need to find your one before you leave this conference. And a man came up to me by the name of Ken Baker. I don't know if you know Ken Baker. He's behind the
do.
scenes on a lot of things,
Mhm.
AKA you might know him as Santa Claus. That's his
Yeah.
ministry.
Yeah.
He came up to me and said, "You're my one." I said, "I'm your what?" He says, "Ryan said you're the one. I need to find my one. You're it. I'm calling you once a month."
Now, had you ever met him before?
I'd met him briefly, kind of like I'd met you a couple of times.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just brief. It was more of an acquaintance. I didn't know him. I said, "Fine, call me once a month."
And at a conference, everybody knows Ken because he literally looks like Santa Claus, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he said, "You're the one. We're going to start talking once a month." And did you do it?
Absolutely. At once a month, we ended up calling, talking to each other. And now we formed a friendship. And no matter what size church we're at, serving and helping, if it's large, medium, or small, we're still contacting back and forth. And now it's about daily. We're
Is it
calling each other
really?
in the morning and saying, "Hey, how's it going today? How'd your weekend go?" And from that, we've actually got a small group of people that we're investing in, and they're investing in us from New Mexico, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and then here in North Carolina.
You got to be kidding.
No, all because of you saying you need to invest in one. Well, how can we be disciples and invest in others?
Man, that's pretty cool. Now, where does Ken live?
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So based upon that story, Stanley, what challenge would you give everyone who's watching right now or watching later or listening on the podcast? What would be the challenge?
Okay. This isn't only a challenge for you, it's a challenge for all of America. And I think it will fix the problems we're in today, Ryan.
Yep. What is it?
It's the second greatest commandment. And it's love your neighbor as yourself. If you put your needs aside and your wants and desires aside and love the other person and put them first, it solves everything. You start wondering, how can I help the other person? How can we help where they're at in their needs? And it changes your whole outlook and changes everything.
I love it. Love it. It's Stanley Mears. Stanley is such a great part of the I Love Kidmin community. Find him on Facebook, send him a friend request. I bet he'll probably accept it. And if you've got a prayer request or something, I know he'll pray for you. Stanley loves to pray. He walks with the Lord. He's a great kids pastor. Stanley, thanks for joining me on the coffee chat.
Yes, sir.
We were supposed to do this last Monday, weren't we?
We were, and it didn't happen.
And somebody forgot about vacation and forgot to tell you I wasn't going to be there.
It's okay.
But Stanley's full of grace. And he said, "It's cool, Ryan. We'll do next week."
That's it.
All right. Stanley, love you, brother. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yep. Stanley Mears. I love that. Love other people. Love other people. Who is someone that you can invest in? Who is someone that you can invest in? If you're like, "Ryan, man, I wish I need a friend in ministry. I need somebody." Well, be that person for someone else. Be that person for someone else. Find someone. If it's not in your church, in another church in your community, find someone in the I Love Kidmin Facebook group. Those of you that are in Kidmin Academy, find another student in Kidmin Academy. Those of you that are hosting Global Kidmin Day, find another host of Global Kidmin Day and say, can we pray for each other? Can we jump on the phone once a month and talk? Thank you, Stanley Mears. Stanley's a great, great, great kids pastor, one of the finest kids pastors in America. We just had in the daily coffee chat. Jennifer Abercrombie is going to be with us. I think, Andy, did we get Jennifer all set up?
I believe we're good to go.
Are we good to go? All right. Now, Jennifer, why don't you jump on here with me? Fingers crossed that this is going to work. Jennifer is another great kids pastor, a great part of our community. You probably know Jennifer from the clothing store that her family created. Was it you guys?
No.
You're the Abercrombies.
We are, but yeah, no, actually, way down the road, there's a little bit of history there, but the Abercrombie family hasn't owned it for 30 years.
So do you have a rich uncle that started Abercrombie that you're going to inherit a bunch of money from one day?
I wish.
Yeah.
But no. We're I always just joke that we just leave. It's all the money's with Fitch. He took it all.
There you go. He took it all.
That's right.
Jennifer, tell us about your ministry.
Well, I've been doing this for about 20 years, a little over 20 years, working with teenagers and with kids and with preschoolers at various times, and mostly around the Midwest, Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield, that kind of area. And it's been a lot of fun, but recently things have changed a little bit. God has changed how I'm ministering to families. And a couple months ago, I left my full-time position and am branching out on my own, partnering with parents and consulting with churches on family ministry.
That's cool. So what's that look like, this new ministry of yours?
Well, it's a little bit crazy since I tried to launch this in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, lovely.
So that's been fun.
Yeah.
My standard answer is it's hard to start a public speaking business when there's no public to speak to.
Yeah.
But it has actually been a lot of fun. God has really moved in some great ways. And every time I get discouraged or wonder, why did I do this? God just shows up and provides a different opportunity and reminds me that he's in control and I'm not. And then I repent and apologize and move on for my doubt and disbelief. But it looks like some social media things. I'm working on some course creation, and I'm partnering with some churches to help them just take their family ministry to the next level. And I'm really excited about that part.
I love it. And as you're talking, I've got a few ideas for you. So we'll talk offline about that.
Great.
Jennifer, you've been in ministry all these years.
Mm-hmm.
You've worked in the church. It's not always easy, is it?
No. Sometimes it's very difficult. And it can be really difficult and really rewarding in about the same 5-minute period.
Isn't that truth? That is the truth.
So much.
You can go from a high to a low like that.
Yes.
I think in any profession that's probably true, but I think especially in the ministry, one phone call, one knock on the door, one meeting, one person catches you in the hallway, and boom. So Jennifer, what are a few things you've learned over the years as a church leader to help you overcome loneliness, discouragement in ministry? Well, what would be some words of encouragement that you would share with everyone today?
The first thing I would say is that, the old adage, the first step in solving a problem is realizing that you have one.
Yep.
So when you get lonely or you get discouraged, remember that the problem is yours. And that's yours to have, and it's yours to solve. Don't wait for other people to come to you. If you're feeling lonely or disconnected, sitting around and thinking, I just wish somebody would call me, it's not going to happen. And if they do call you, they're going to want something when they call you. Yeah. So you have to recognize that in yourself, recognize your own needs, be self-aware enough, and then be brave enough to do something about it.
I love that. So much of that self-awareness is huge, not just in dealing with loneliness, but in so many areas of life. It's so easy to try to posture, be what you're not, but really understand. Yeah. All right. What else would you share? Give us another one.
The next thing that I would do is one thing that helped me is to calendar my social life like I calendar the kids' men. When I sit down and do a year-long calendar, I plug in the big pieces first, and then I add in the small pieces. I try to make sure we have a variety of items, big events, small events, community connection, deep discipleship, and put them throughout the calendar. Well, when we are feeling lonely, or even when we're not, just to maintain that level of self-care, we need to plan it and we need to schedule it. You don't have to have details, because you're not going to call your friend and say, hey, from 6 months from now, somewhere in, around Christmas, can we have coffee? But you need to plan it. You have to be very active in that. And, we take a lot of time and work on taking care of the kids, but we can't take care of our families, our kids and our families at home and our families at church unless we're taking care of ourselves. And one thing I've noticed is that sometimes we feel lonely because we feel like we're disconnected from the people that we're standing in the room with. But also that can be the people we're standing in the room with are a little bit uneasy, maybe intimidated, or just unsure how to handle us. And so
That's
we
a
need
good point.
to own we need to own that and take care of it, and just call people up. Hey, do you want to have a coffee? And do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to get our kids together and have some and go to the
That's
park?
good.
Do you whatever it is, a guy's night, girls' night, whatever your case is, and just schedule that and take care of it.
I love it. Literally schedule it. Like,
Literally.
yeah, like you schedule everything else.
Right.
I'm going to schedule some opportunities for me to interact with people, have
Yes.
coffee with somebody, schedule a play date, do something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. And I could definitely see how that would help. You have any others you want to share?
Yeah, I think it's important to unplug, not just from electronics, but unplug from your job. My friends can tell you, and a lot of my friends are other staff that I work with,
Yep.
or other families in our ministry, and I will come in and say, we're not talking about church today. Can we not talk about work, or can we not talk about things? That does a couple things. It makes you more human to them. And they realize that you have a life and that you have other things to talk about. And it helps you to focus on developing relationships on a personal level and not constantly be thinking about how you can minister to those people. How are they meeting their needs? How is this going to affect Sunday morning? How does this reflect on the church? Our brains are constantly going. And sometimes we just need to remember that we need ministered to just as much as other people. And so just setting safe boundaries and, as well as when you're out with your friends, turn your phone off.
Yeah.
Emergencies will find you just fine.
Well, they will. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, I think sometimes the idea of turning your phone off,
That's big.
it is big. And that alone can create some anxiety, the thought of not having my phone on. But you're right. That's probably good for the soul. And if there really is an emergency, someone will find you. They will find you.
Yes.
This is going to sound like I'm name dropping, but I'm not telling the story to name drop. But a few weeks ago, I interviewed Michael Jr. on the Coffee Chat about the new movie coming out, Selfie Dad. And one thing he said, and I love it, I haven't done it yet, but I'm really thinking about it, Jennifer, is he said he has his iPhone, but he also has just an old school flip phone that like 3 people have his number to, his kids, his parents, and his wife. And sometimes like he literally would turn off the iPhone and just carry the flip phone, because if it's an emergency, the people that really matter the most to me, they've got the number to my flip phone and they can get me, and I'll be all right without Instagram and Facebook and all these other text messages for a while. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Maybe every so often you just either turn that phone off, or get a pay-as-you-go phone or something that only a couple people know the number to, and disconnect. And it seems kind of countercultural in this super connected world we live in, but definitely needed.
It seems odd to disconnect to connect, but
doesn't it? It really does.
It really is how it is. I actually practice because I'm so connected to my phone that I will just every so often turn it off and just feel the anxiety that I have, just to practice dealing with it.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Because, you practice what you want to get good at.
Yeah, you do. I forgot my Apple Watch or my iWatch, whatever they call them, at home this morning. And that has created a little anxiety, which is totally stupid because what if you are in a different room without your phone and somebody texts you? How am I going to know if I don't have my watch on, right? Jennifer, You said at the beginning you've got this new ministry where you're helping churches with family ministry strategies and stuff. Yes. If somebody's interested in this, or it intrigues them, or they're trying to think through strategies and they want to connect with you, what's a good way to do that?
just go to my website. It's jenniferabercrombie.com, and it has ways, email, and there's Facebook and a YouTube channel and all that stuff you can get connected with. But I would love to hear from you guys. Anything you need. I love the local church, and I love KidMin people. Those are my people. So if you have any questions, you're just not sure about anything, you just want to run it, get a second set of eyes on something, feel free to email me. I'd love to talk to you.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to try to share my screen quick. I don't think I've been on your new website yet. Okay. There we go. I've shared my screen. Yeah. Your website looks great.
Thanks. I'm married to a web designer, so it helps.
Nice. Well, there it is, friends. Jennifer Abercrombie.
Yes.
Jennifer, thanks for everything you're doing to serve kids and families.
Oh, my pleasure.
If you need anything, holler at me. Thanks for joining me on the coffee chat.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Take care. Yep. Hey, while I have my web browser up, thank you, Jennifer Abercrombie, for joining me. Thank you, Stanley, for joining me. Not been to Kids Matter in a while. It is time to order your 2020 limited edition Kids Matter hat. I say it's a 2020 limited edition. We don't have a 1990 or a 2019 one. This is the first year we've done it, but I've talked to a lot of people that have expressed interest in a hat, and I like to wear hats. And so we've got this really nice hat. You have to pre-order by Friday. We're not ordering these until we know how many to order. I don't want left with 100 extra hats. So you have to order by Friday this week, July 4th. And we're going to put the order in. It takes 2 weeks to get the hats, and it'll ship to you. It's got the Kids Matter logo in a nice leather circle. It is an adjustable cap. It is $29.95. We're not making very much on this. Our cost is like $22. So we're marking it up $7 because we got to pay somebody to order all this and ship them when they come in. It's more just to give you some swag to wear. $29.95, your 2020 limited edition Kids Matter hat. Order it at kidsmatter.com. Also check out globalkidminday.com coming up on August the 8th. You can bring your entire team. All of your volunteers can benefit from this training. Hopefully you can gather at the church. If you can't, we'll give you a link so everybody can participate online. But a lot of you are still going to gather. We are still doing this, even though there's a pandemic, for everybody that can do it. Everybody can do it. It's whether or not you can gather at the church, or whether you're going to choose to have everybody participate from home because of COVID-19. Conference quality training for children's ministry teams. We deliver the file to you 10 days in advance. So all you need to do is gather your team and push play. This is not a simulcast where you have to rely on the church internet and crazy connections and logins. It's super easy to do this. Also, here are the top 8 downloads of the week. We've got some great downloads, including Precious in His Sight, 6 family devotions about racial issues from a biblical perspective. All right here, we've got some brand new games. Hey, we have a family faith fun on the 4th of July download. Something for all of your families. It's normally $12. It's only $8. If you're looking for a resource for mom and dad this week going into the 4th of July, or you have an event, you need to check this out. The family faith fun on the 4th. That's almost a tongue twister. Friends, thanks for joining me for the coffee chat today. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, podcast. Thank you, YouTube. We're going to have a great week. I believe it. Talk to you tomorrow.